right now, at this exact moment, while you're watching this video, Trump is inside the Pentagon listening to updated military options against Iran. Not tomorrow, not next week. Gas prices in the United States hit $4.30 a gallon today, the biggest single-day spike since 2022. The Strait of Hormuz, the waterway that carries 20% of the entire world's oil supply, is effectively shut down, and Russia has just been officially confirmed as an active player in this war. If you still think this war is just between the US and Iran, you don't know half the story. In the next minutes, I'm going to walk you through everything that's actually happening. Not the 2-minute headline, the full picture, the real timeline. I'll show you why Trump is at the Pentagon today and what those military options actually include that no one is saying out loud, what the Dark Eagle missile is, and why its possible deployment to the Middle East is the most dangerous signal of this entire week. Why Russia is inside this war, confirmed today by the top US general in the Senate, and what that changes about every outcome on the table. And the question nobody is answering. If the peace talks in Islamabad fail on Saturday, what does Trump order on Monday? Stay until the end, because the last section of this video contains the information that will prepare you for what comes next, and that most people will only understand after it's already too late. To understand the weight of today's decisions, you need to understand what was built over the last 2 months. On February 28, 2026, the United States and Israel launched the first coordinated strikes against Iran. To date, April 30th, 2026, that operation has cost $28 billion. The Pentagon just requested a budget of $1.5 trillion for fiscal year 2027. And in the opening days of the conflict, Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, was killed. Think about what that means. The man who governed Iran for decades, gone in the first days of this war. In his place, his son, Mojtaba Khamenei, who declared today that Iran's gains in this war are irreversible facts. More on that in a moment, because that statement changes everything about the peace negotiations. Now, the Strait of Hormuz, just 21 miles wide at its narrowest point. 20% of the entire planet's oil supply passes through it. Iran began restricting access to this strait. Not a full blockade. Selective, tactical. Letting some ships through, stopping others, controlling the flow. The result? In the United States, gas prices hit $4.30 a gallon today. The biggest single-day surge in 4 years. But here's what almost nobody is saying clearly. Trump said publicly this week that the strait blockade could last months, not days, not weeks, months. And the US government is actively pressuring allied nations to form a coalition to force open the strait through naval presence. Translation: Washington wants other countries to put their warships there too. If that coalition forms, if a Western naval force confronts Iranian forces inside the Strait of Hormuz, we are entering territory the world hasn't seen since World War II. Now let's go to what's happening at this exact moment. Today, April 30th, Trump is meeting with Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth and top military commanders at the Pentagon. The agenda: updated military options against Iran. This is not a routine briefing. When a president summons the Pentagon to present updated military options during an active ceasefire, there is a technical name for that move: escalation signaling. It's a message to Tehran, to Moscow, to the entire world. If the negotiations fail on Saturday, we already have the next step ready. And here is what that briefing almost certainly includes. That no media outlet is detailing clearly: the Dark Eagle missile. The Dark Eagle is the US Army's most advanced hypersonic missile, speed, Mach 5 or above, 5 times the speed of sound, range, capable of hitting targets 1,724 miles away. Reaction time for any defense system, effectively zero. Why does this matter? Because no air defense system Iran currently possesses can intercept a missile traveling at Mach 5. Fox News confirmed today the Dark Eagle is being considered for deployment to the Middle East as additional leverage against Iran. Not confirmation of use, confirmation of positioning. But positioning is already a message, and Iran knows how to read messages. While Trump is being briefed at the Pentagon, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth is being questioned in the U.S. Senate. The central issue senators are pressing. The 60-day clock under the War Powers Act is expiring. The War Powers Act, passed in 1973 after Vietnam, says a U.S. president can engage military forces without congressional approval for a maximum of 60 days. The Iran conflict began February 28th. Today is April 30th. That is exactly 61 days. Hegseth's response: the current ceasefire pauses the clock. Democrats disagree, and if Congress forces a vote, and Republicans don't have the votes to block it, Trump could find himself in a position where he either gets congressional authorization or ends the conflict. This doesn't mean the war ends. It means the political pressure on Trump is growing from the inside, while military pressure on Iran grows from the outside. Before we continue, if you've made it this far, you already understand this situation is more complex and more dangerous than the 2-minute news cycle is showing you. This channel exists precisely for that, to take the most important events in the world and give you the complete story, with the details that actually matter. If this kind of coverage is valuable to you, subscribe now and hit the bell, because what comes in the next few days is going to move fast, and you'll want to be here when it happens. Now, Russia. Today in the United States Senate, General Dan Kane, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, confirmed something that had been circulating as rumors for weeks. Russia is actively involved in this war. Let me say that again. The highest-ranking general in the United States Armed Forces confirmed, in official Senate testimony, that Russia has an active role in this conflict. Now the question you need to ask is, whose side? Because the answer to that changes everything. Russia has historical reasons to support Iran. The two countries have defense agreements, military cooperation. Iran supplied drones to Russia during the war in Ukraine. But Russia also has interests in Middle Eastern stability and in oil prices. With the Strait of Hormuz restricted, Russian oil becomes more valuable to Europe and Asia. Russia is, in theory, making more money from this conflict without firing a single shot. So what exactly is Russia doing? General Kane's public testimony didn't specify the nature of Russia's involvement, but military analysts are discussing several possibilities, providing intelligence to Iran, real-time data on American movements in the Persian Gulf, technical support for air defense systems, which would explain how a US F-15 was shot down weeks ago, even after America declared Iran's air defenses were destroyed, diplomatic pressure behind the scenes, using its influence to prolong the conflict while reaping the economic benefits of expensive oil. If it's intelligence or technical support, this is no longer just a war between the US and Iran. This is a proxy conflict, US and Israel on one side, Iran with Russian backing on the other, and the entire world feeling it at the gas pump. In the middle of all of this, there is a city that has emerged at the center of this crisis in a way few expected: Islamabad, the capital of Pakistan. On Saturday, May 2nd, 2026, the first formal round of peace negotiations between the United States and Iran takes place. Leading the American delegation, Vice President J.D. Vance. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt confirmed today, the Vice President has played a very significant and fundamental role since the beginning. he will be leading this new phase of negotiations in Islamabad. Why Pakistan? Pakistan holds a unique position in this crisis. It's a historical U.S. ally, but maintains ties with Iran, shares a border with Afghanistan, which borders Iran. It's a majority Muslim nation, which gives the negotiations legitimacy in the eyes of the Islamic world. And Pakistan is a nuclear power. And here is the tension nobody is articulating clearly. On the Iranian side, new Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khamenei declared today that Iran's gains in this war are irreversible facts. What does that mean in practice? It means Iran is going to Islamabad with the position that it will not retreat on control of the Strait of Hormuz. On the American side, Trump has stated there is one non-negotiable condition. The Strait of Hormuz must be reopened. Two positions, completely opposed. A negotiation where both sides arrive saying they won't give an inch. That's not diplomacy. That's theater before a decision, and the decision will be made if the theater fails. Meanwhile, the U.S. Senate attempted, for the sixth time, to pass a resolution limiting Trump's war powers in Iran. For the sixth time, Republicans blocked it. Trump does not need congressional approval, at least not yet. But there's an important signal in that repeated vote. There are members of Trump's own party who are uncomfortable with where this war could go. And when politicians start voting against their own president during a war situation, it's because they're seeing something the public hasn't seen yet. I'm going to be direct. There are three scenarios for the next few days, and each one has radically different consequences. Scenario 1, the Islamabad talks work. Vance and the Iranian side reach an agreement on Saturday. The Strait of Hormuz begins to gradually reopen. Oil prices drop. Gas falls back toward $3.50. Trump declares victory, announces he did what no one else could. Analyst probability, low, but not impossible. Iran needs economic relief, but new Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khamenei still has to prove his strength internally. And backing down in negotiations could look like weakness to the Revolutionary Guard. Scenario 2, talks fail. Trump escalates. Islamabad produces no agreement. Trump, who already said he's been loading and resting the military for the next conquest, authorizes new strikes. The Dark Eagle is deployed. A Western naval coalition is activated in the Strait of Hormuz. Oil prices pass $200 a barrel, as Iran threatened. Probability significant, especially if the Iranian side arrives at Islamabad with a non-negotiable position. Scenario 3, Russia changes the game. This is the scenario nobody is modeling publicly yet. If Russia is providing intelligence or technical support to Iran, and if that is exposed beyond any doubt, the U.S. faces a situation where striking Iran more aggressively risks a direct confrontation with Russia. That is not automatically World War III, but it is a level of geopolitical complexity we haven't seen since the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962, and none of these three scenarios has been decided yet. The decision is being made right now, today, while you watch this video. When Trump said bigger and stronger, that wasn't empty rhetoric. He was describing a ladder that is being built in real time. On the first rung, economic pressure, the Strait blockade, gas at $4.30. On the next rung, updated military options, the Dark Eagle, a naval coalition. On the top rung, what happens if Russia decides the time has come to stop operating in the shadows? The Islamabad negotiations on Saturday won't dismantle this ladder. They'll determine which rung the world stands on for the next several months. Follow this channel, because when the answer comes, and it will come in the next few days, you'll want to understand what it actually means. Subscribe, hit the bell. The next video will cover the outcome of Islamabad and what Trump does the moment after.